Georgia Tech bouncing back nicely from 3-9 in 2015 and capped it off with a 33-18 win over Kentucky from the SEC, a third consecutive win over that conference. In the TaxSlayer Bowl, we bring in Joey Weaver from the Rumble seat to break down the action and look ahead to 2017. Joey, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Mark. Good to be back.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a while since we've talked Georgia Tech football. And a nice season here from the Yellow Jackets, finishing off at 9-4. So I know it's been a roller coaster ride going to the Orange Bowl and winning 2 years ago and then having to suffer through last season, but coming back strong at 9-4. So just overall, that has to feel good that the bounce back year was maybe a little bit, from a record standpoint, maybe a little bit better than expected.
It sure does feel good. It was kind of an interesting year. We were talking before we came on, and I think Georgia Tech at 9-4 kind of snuck up on some people, didn't really realize that maybe they were all 8-4, 9-4. I've had people the last couple of weeks saying, "Oh, is Georgia Tech going to a bowl game?" Yeah, they won 8 games this year. I think what kind of causes that is they were 4-4 in conference, but then they went undefeated in 5 out of conference games with wins over Georgia, Vanderbilt, now Kentucky, as well as Mercer and Georgia Southern. So that's definitely a strong bounce back for these guys, and still a relatively young team. That was a big theme of 2015 and kind of carried into 2016 a little bit, but sets up very nicely moving forward. They're bringing back something like 16, 17 starters, I think, in 2017. So it sets up nice, and it's good to see these guys are starting to gel and play really well, even as a bit of a younger group.
Yeah, most coaches, when you hear them prepare for bowl games and then talk about, hopefully after they win the bowl game, talk about the senior class and the contributions of the seniors, and if they're in the process of building a program, how important the senior class is in establishing the program and the leadership. So obviously that was somewhat of a theme in regards to Paul Johnson having a strong senior class that's accomplished quite a bit here. And it was nice to see them, a number of them really shine in this bowl game.
Exactly. Yeah, there weren't a ton of them, but the ones that were there were very impactful. They were leaders in the clubhouse. Obviously, Justin Thomas, the senior quarterback, he had a really good game, I thought. Maybe numbers won't jump off the page this year, but he had a really nice 21-yard touchdown run before halftime. His center, Freddie Burden, had a really good game blocking up until he had to leave the game with an injury. Pat Gamble on the defensive line forced a fumble and had 2 sacks. P.J. Davis, linebacker, picked up that fumble and ran it in for a touchdown early in the game. And then Harrison Butker, he kicked 4 field goals and became the team's the school's all-time leading scorer. So it was a really nice tribute, really nice send-off for some of these guys, even some other guys that maybe weren't as huge involved. You know, Marcus Allen got involved a little bit at B-back. He's been with the program a long time. So it was really nice to see some of these senior guys have a really nice send-off performance in their last college game.
And their careers, Joey, when you think about it, have basically spanned the time that we've talked and discussed Georgia Tech football. So there are names that I'm very familiar with, and you talking even early in their careers about the possibilities of the impact that they would make. A great impact from a freshman as well. Dedrick Mills with 169 yards and a touchdown, 2 suspensions this year. So we've seen the good on the field, and we've seen maybe some immaturity off the field. But he finishes strong, and Paul Johnson obviously spoke to after the game the future that this kid could have if he stays clean.
That's right. That was the other cool thing about this, was not only the send-off for the seniors, but also a little bit of a look to what the future could hold. As you mentioned, Dedrick Mills, 31 carries, 169 yards, and it was 1 touchdown, I guess. But he ends up the team's leading rusher. He had, as you mentioned, he had a couple of maturity things. He kind of had to do some growing up this year. But if he can stick around, he has the ability to be really, really good, because he was an excellent running back as a true freshman. Very physical and brings a lot to the team. And so he was the game MVP. That was obviously a great thing to see for him. But there were also some other guys, kind of younger guys getting involved as well. Guys like Clinton Lynch, he's only a sophomore. J.J. Green's got another year. Quay Cersei's got another couple years. So, yeah, as I said, a great send-off for the seniors, but there was a lot of really encouraging stuff from guys coming back on offense next year as well.
So with Dedrick Mills, if people out there have not followed his season, missed 4 games due to suspension, but in looking at some of the bright spots, the one that jumps off the board, even in a loss to North Carolina, 132 yards against the heels. We saw what Clemson's defense was capable of doing against an Ohio State team last night. 75 yards on 16 carries, so 4.7 per carry against that Clemson defense in the lone touchdown, and against a Miami defense that is extremely talented, youthful, but talented. 19 carries for 99 yards. So he impressed against some very quality opponents. In addition to Dedrick Mills, Joey, maybe some players, as the bowl season is kind of depending on your status and what you're playing for, and the trajectory of the program, and also kind of the makeup of the personnel on the roster and the class makeup, a look ahead to 2017. So maybe some guys that showed you some hope for the future.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, a lot of guys coming back next year. That's a really good sign. Kenny Cooper had to fill in at center. He's a true freshman. He had to fill in for Freddie Burden when he went out with an injury. Went off without a hitch. No issues whatsoever. That's really encouraging from a true freshman at a position like center. So that was encouraging for me. Some guys on defense. I thought Corey Griffin has played really well this year. He's been all over the place, making tackles and breaking up passes. He's coming back next year. He'll be a senior and probably one of the better players on this defense. Keyshawn Freeman, Antonio Simmons, and Henri St. Amour at defensive end all really got involved and had a really nice game. I think those guys bring a lot to the table moving forward. This is going to be a very deep defensive line. I don't know how much top-end talent they're going to have, but certainly a lot of different ways to beat you. And so a lot of encouraging signs moving forward on both sides of the ball. If you're looking for players that maybe we're going to see a little more of next year, the leader in the clubhouse right now would seem to be Matthew Jordan to replace Justin Thomas at quarterback. Just given that he's going to be a junior next year, he filled in and won the Virginia Tech game when Thomas couldn't play. He's a very different player than Thomas. He's bigger. He's maybe a little, less athletic and not as good of a passer, but his ability to run inside brings a different element to this offense. So he's one to keep an eye out for, but they've got other options there as well. Jay Jones is a really good athlete. He redshirted as a true freshman this year. Lucas Johnson has probably the best overall, passing kind of combination with his athleticism in the stable. So there's going to be a really interesting open competition, I'd imagine, in spring ball to figure out who the heir to Justin Thomas's throne is.